Hello, this is Charlie from the Dead Freights, and you're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
Did you know we're listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast with Bruce and Raina?
Well, cool. So thank you for joining me. I won't keep you guys too long, but for those not familiar with the Dead Freights, and I got to tell you, I found you guys through Jasmine, I guess. I had no idea. I totally love you guys. That's I totally dig what you guys are doing. So for those not familiar with the Dead Freights, can you give us like the 2-sentence boardroom pitch?
Yeah, go on, Charlie. This is on you. Dead Freights, rock and roll, indie rock and roll, I'd say, from Southern England.
Yeah.
Most of the songs are kind of taken from poetry that I come up with, sort of quite like dark kind of stuff, and then we wrap some fuzzy guitars around it, and it makes a noise in the background.
I play the drums.
Pots and pans.
It's got some of that. I mean, I like that raw, and I don't know if it's more of a British thing or not, but I mean that raw British kind of, not punk, but maybe punk rock-ish. Am I saying the wrong thing?
Like,
that's how I see it.
It's definitely attitudinal.
Yes, that's a good word. That's not the word I came up with, but I'll give you the benefit there, Charlie. That's a good word.
You can have it.
Why? Thank you. No, I love it. And how did you guys come up with Sufferin Safari, or decide to do something in that vein? Because that's a bit different, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay.
Yeah.
Shall I?
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting good at this. Hey, taking turns. Well, it's Sufferin Safari, and it's like a take on Surfing Safari. Right. And the song itself is kind of about the kind of dark and adulterous thoughts that you have at low points in a relationship, essentially.
Right.
And kind of just a bit of a confession of that.
Yeah, kind of the midnight confessional.
Yeah. The kind of the midnight confessional.
Yeah,
I like
That's the name of the record, right?
Yeah, well, it is now.
When you're writing,
man, and as you were saying, going back to that sort of punky thing, this one I think has kind of gone more that way compared to the last ones, and sort of we've slowly been kind of almost accidentally drifting into that kind of punkier sound.
Right, and I think the British do it really well. I mean, that's like kind of a classic British sound to me. When I heard you guys, I was like, man, that's that classic British sound, but it's so great and timeless.
Appreciate it.
Yeah,
I guess I got drilled. My mum just drilled the Clash into my head before I could even walk and stuff. And I guess is that part of it. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
When you guys are writing, I know you said you're writing poetry, but are you writing and you want your fans to take something away? Is there like a takeaway you want your fans to go with? Or is it just you're writing your poetry and it is what it is?
Yeah, I'd say, I don't know, I'd like to think that lyrically there's kind of something that people can take away, but then I'm quite, whenever I'm writing the words, it's always about my own sort of personal experience and kind of how I feel about stuff. Right. So I think sort of selfishly, I kind of think that it's all about me, you know.
It is when you're you, I suppose.
Yeah,
right.
When I'm me, it is. But there's, I don't know, well, because like we was talking about this yesterday, and you were saying that because we're like close friends, and when I write words, you kind of know what
I know where you're coming from.
You kind of know even like who I'm referencing, or if there's like a book I've been talking about or something. He's like said these sort of spot things and stuff. So I suppose if you can take something from it, then other people surely can.
Yeah.
So along those same lines, then, do you have any stories of, emails, or after a show, somebody stopped you and said, hey, this song really connected with me, or anything like that?
No. However, there was this one time at a gig, right? Because Charlie likes to think of himself as quite theatrical on stage. He prances about a bit. And we were piling into a taxi on the way to like an Airbnb or something. And this guy stopped the taxi, some guy from the audience, and told us to wind down the window. And he just leaned into the car and went, you, and pointed at Charlie and went, you, my friend, are a theatrical genius. Right?
Nice.
we didn't hear the end of that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm still hearing about it. That's just why I thought I'd tell you about it before he would.
Right.
I knew he
Nice.
was gonna. Yeah. But it was so funny because there's always been a kind of healthy rivalry between Charlie and Rob, the other guitar player, who used to do more singing, but now does a bit more backing vocals, and like he just fucking hated it.
Yeah,
like,
there was like silence, isn't there? You're a theatrical genius. And I went, thanks, mate. And then we sort of rolled the windows up, and it was sort of quiet. And I went, sorry, did you? Went, don't.
Did you hear what that guy said to me? Theatrical genius. Eh?
Nice.
Yeah. Well, as a theatrical genius, I think, I might, just basing every decision on the tour now on being a theatrical. As a theatrical genius, I think we should take a left here.
Yeah, I need this on the rider now too, because I'm a theatrical genius.
Yeah.
So when you guys are writing, are you guys all writing together, like in the traditional sense, like in the old days where you bounce things off each other, or are you writing more or less like emailing things back and forth and taking advantage of technology?
We definitely write all the music together and bounce off each other the old school way.
So I love that. And I think you can tell that in your music as well, because it's way more organic and immediate. And I think a lot of times you can tell when it's been, I don't want to say phoned in, but sent over internet and, mixed up. And I understand we're in a pandemic and people live all over the world and you got to do what you got to do. But I also think when you hear a record like that, you can tell that it's been bounced off each other. Does that make sense?
Oh, that's cool that you can tell that. Yeah, it's definitely nice to hear. We haven't had anyone ever really say that before. But that's really cool. I think you're right. And I think like it sometimes takes a while to get to know a song as well. And like with this particular song that we've just released, Sufferin Safari, this one in particular, it took almost the longest it's ever really taken to sort of us to get to know it, and it kept changing, and then we didn't even really realize it was changing until we listened to like an early demo of it, and we were like, wow, it's really come a long way. And it's cool to play it live as well before recording it, and that kind of changes it as well, because it makes you see it from a different perspective when you play it in front of people. So like,
oh yeah, so
we're planning to go into the studio quite soon and record some new ones, but we haven't actually played these new ones in front of people because there's been no gigs this year.
Right.
So it's almost it's a weird one. It feels like it could it can sort of stunt the creative process. As soon as you record it, then that's done. That's the end of it. That's not going to evolve any further than that.
Right.
So, but this one, like, we were lucky enough. We've played it probably for about 2 years already before recording it.
Oh, really?
At least like 10 different arranged versions of it, with like.
So it just kept morphing?
It just kept morphing, kind of subconsciously. We didn't even really try and morph it. It just kind of kept morphing. And then.
Is that the way a lot of your songs end up?
Say again?
Do a lot of your, I know I cut you off. I'm sorry. Do a lot of your songs end up that way? Is that how you normally do it, or is that just special for that one, Sufferin Safari?
I think that one was definitely the most standout. Like that was the one it was most apparent that we were there was loads of different kind of incarnations of it. And I think when we were all finally kind of happy with it, it almost didn't sort of feel like it was finished. It was like, yeah, what is that? Were you happy with that? Is that it? Is it done then? It doesn't feel like it should ever be done.
Yeah,
right.
Like one of those songs, like what they said about the they're saying about the Grateful Dead, talking about trucking for the Grateful Dead.
I'm a huge Dead fan.
Oh, amazing, man! That's the Dead in the Dead Freights is doff of the cap to those guys. But they were talking.
I thought it was about my dead nan.
No. I'm sorry about that.
The theatrical genius has spoken.
Yeah. they were talking about trucking, got all those verses in it. They were talking about like at one point they were never actually going to record it. They were just going to keep writing it. Every town they went to would be a different verse, and it would just end up this huge song. And then when they finally recorded it, it was a bit sort of like, oh, we should probably leave it at that now. That's it, kind of cemented. But I like the idea that they had like loads of different versions.
Yeah,
just kept going.
So I know during this quarantine, you guys have released a couple songs, Stray Dogs and Fever and the Thunder. Are you guys planning on doing any kind of live streams or interaction with your fans, or is it just going to be releasing singles?
Well, I think we kind of at the beginning of the lockdown, we kind of did a few sort of stream. I mean, I did a few.
You did some ones.
We kind of made a few sort of videos. I mean, we were in fact, it was just before we started, when we came on the call, we were just sort of saying about doing like the sort of live stream thing. I mean, maybe it's sort of kind of, it's been done now, I think. Like,
yeah.
I think because where we're at the point now where we're starting to book actual gigs.
Oh, yeah, we've got a gig booked, our first gig booking at the end of July. Is it July?
Wow.
Yeah. So
on the books.
Yeah, exactly.
And that was supposed to be an album launch show, but we haven't managed to record our album, so it's just going to be a party.
But yeah, I mean, can you imagine what it's going to be like? I mean, when you guys hit the stage, or when you get to your first show after all the shit has gone down, it's going to be I think you hit it right. It's going to be a party.
Yeah,
it's going to be.
We kind of booked it. Yeah, we kind of booked it in. It's like pretty soon after the lockdown, and it's like finishing here.
Right.
So it's going to be like, it's going to be great. Or it's going to be really messy. Who knows?
But it doesn't matter. I don't even think anybody would care, because it's live music and it's your friends and it's beer and booze, and it's not in your living room watching Netflix.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's going to be kind of interesting too, though, because promoters are going to have to be sort of selective, right? Because otherwise they can oversaturate, because all you guys are going to want to get out, right? So you all have to get out to pay the bills. That's going to saturate the markets, and people like myself or whoever, the fans, are only going to have so much money to
get out.
Right?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, you're right.
It's going to be kind of strange how they maneuver this, I think.
Yeah, I wonder what's going to happen.
Right, because if everybody hits, you're going to have like 10 shows in town at one time, and you can't go to them all.
Yeah. But still, that would be still quite a good position to be in.
Hell yeah. I mean, deciding which one you want to go to. Yeah, you know it.
But like a mini fest, when you're at a festival and like two bands clash that you want to see, you're like, you can kind of sometimes wangle seeing both.
Yeah, a little bit. Yo, or catch half and half, right?
Yeah.
I don't know what it's going to be like, but I know I cannot wait to get the hell out there. It's crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I bet. Have you got lots of good venues and stuff around where you are?
I wouldn't say a lot, but there's probably two really good ones, like 1,500 seat, nice old theater kind. And then there's a little dump, maybe 300, 400, but a lot of people play there. It's not.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
I like those places.
Yeah, me too. I've seen some really big bands play in those little places, and that's fun.
Yeah.
You pack it out. It's 300 people who want to be there.
Yeah.
And it's great.
And it's kind of intimate and
and
usually those places they often sound quite good, don't they?
Yes,
because those legendary little venues that are kind of they just nail it on the sound.
Yep. And I mean, if you see the place, it's a it's a shithole, really. It looks like, but you're right, it gets decent sound and everybody plays there, and it's always a good time. So I can't wait. Are you guys so you've been taking advantage of the downtime to do some writing then?
Yeah,
we kind of been getting together, like writing, but also just all that other stuff around the gigging thing, because we were gigging a lot before, and getting drunk quite a lot whilst doing it, and all that thing. And it's really fun, but you kind of it's not fully sustainable, and also it's been nice to take a step back to do some writing and recording, and just kind of get our
drinking some water once in a while.
Amen. Chin brother.
Right.
Yeah. I wish I had a bit. And So we've doing all that stuff, kind of getting the social media a bit better, and that kind of thing, and our comms.
Are you guys pretty active social media wise?
We try and be. Yeah, we could be better. I mean, but we're pretty good. We're getting it together.
Awesome. So the last thing I have then is, how does it make you feel when the energy and the passion you envisioned when writing a song comes to life in front of that crowd? The theatrical genius?
Yeah, well, obviously not a question. No, obviously, like, it's good.
Answering questions.
Obviously not an answering questions.
You're an answering questions idiot. You're a theatrical genius.
Nice.
Yeah, it feels great, obviously.
Yeah,
It feels really good.
it is good, isn't it?
Yeah.
It is good. Yeah.
And since we were talking,
it's great.
all right. And since we were talking about it, though, do you get the same energy, or is it? Let me rephrase that. Do you find it harder to play in front of 30 people as opposed to 10,000, or is a show a show?
I think, well, we normally play like a show's a show, and we give the same every time.
Yeah.
Regardless of how many people.
Yeah. Having said that, we have played some really, really like bad shows in our time. Like we always joke that we like headline a Coconut Shy and stuff, you know, like something like really lame.
You know, when you end up at a village fete.
A village fete and there's a bouncy castle.
Like really Spinal Tap.
Yeah, like Spinal Tap.
The puppet show. Right.
Yeah,
exactly.
And there was one time we did one of those. It was ages ago. Do you remember? It was like a boat show or something. We just played this like, and then no one was listening to us, and you just kept saying, Charlie just kept saying into the microphone, like really sarcastically, "It's just great to be here." And you must have said it throughout the show, like before and after every tune, just like, "It's just great to be here." Just like so sarcastic,
nice.
Horrible little, ungrateful little.
Spoiled brat.
Ungrateful little twat who didn't learn.
Nice. But at the end of the day, a show is a show, right? I mean, you still got to get out and do your thing, and you may get 2 fans out of it or whatever, I guess.
Yeah. Of course. And exactly. And like because we played quite a lot, and I think you just build your strength, I guess, and you just get a bit better and tighter, and it can only be a good thing, really.
Cool. So I know I said that was the last one, but I'm thinking.
Keep going, man. We're not doing anything.
I'm thinking on the fly here. What was the craziest on stage incident you guys have had? Gear failure or something? Everybody's got them.
We've definitely had. There's definitely been a couple where everything falls apart around you. Yeah. There's like strings are being broken and bits of drum kit are falling over. And like, I mean, my guitar is normal. We're used to. It's not as bad now, but my guitar used to just break all the time. Like the strap would just break on it or something. Yeah. When we did the Islington show,
what happened?
We were quite drunk because it was one of those things where we got to the venue and we did a sound check at like 4 or something, 5. And we weren't on until like 10, half 10 in the evening. And there's nothing to do.
Such a big, annoying perineum of time.
And you're just in a venue. You know?
Right.
So it's just you just drink. And well, we did at least then we did. And it was like, but yeah, it was just one of those shows where I just wasn't really. Nothing was really coming together for us, was it? Yeah. When things start breaking, I think some of your drum kit fell over, my guitar kind of broke. Right. We just had to drag. We were dragging the thing by the horns, weren't we?
And your technique, which actually I think is quite good. When something breaks a little bit, you end up just smashing it up more.
Break it more. Yeah.
Just if it starts breaking a little bit, then just make it part of the thing, and you just go mental with it.
Yeah.
It's just like
nice.
It's like Drop Dead Fred. If something doesn't work, then smash it up even more to make it better or something. I don't know. It's like
I'll tell you a funny story. I ask that question quite often.
Yes.
I was interviewing, I think they're from Germany, this band Saltatio Mortis. They're like a folk metal band of some sort, pretty popular, but they were playing Wacken over in Germany, you know, that big metal festival they have every year.
Yeah.
Got up on stage to get ready he's a drummer. Sat on his drum set or on a stool, and a hornet flew up his shorts and stung him in the nuts.
Brilliant.
He had 60,000 people out there, so he said he had to play hurting like hell.
Oh, fair play to the guy.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I
was going to say there was one time, another one when it was one of those kind of Coconut Shy gigs, village fete kind of things. We were playing on this inflatable stage, and remember the wind was blowing down. The wind was blowing, it was deflating, and I was playing the drums, and it was just completely squishing me.
I'll give you one more just because we're talking. I'm not keeping you, am I?
No, you're good, man.
I did an interview with Steve Austin from Today's the Day. And I guess they were doing some big festival. It always is big festival, I guess, that this shit happens. But some big festival, and he's a singer, guitar player. He walked up to the microphone in front of 30,000 people, put his hands on the mic, and got zapped and shit himself immediately on stage.
He shot himself in front of all those people.
In front of all those people. And he
Brilliant.
said he didn't know what to do. Show's got to go. So he just played.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you do? I guess
Honestly.
you go
I mean,
change.
if they were filming it, if they were filming it, I would quite like to go back and try and pinpoint the exact moment when he realized he'd shat himself. Because that's going to be like an amazing and then his facial expression is going to change, and then he's right, I'm going to keep, what am I doing? What am I going to do? It's panic, isn't it? When you shit yourself, let alone in front of all those people, when you shit yourself, it's panic.
Because apparently, like, the dressing rooms were far away and they took like a golf cart to get to the stage. So there was no way to, go change. You've got 20 minutes to play. Let's go.
He just went for it.
Good man. The show must go on.
He's a pro.
He's a professional.
I guess, but there's my contribution to those stories, because I've heard a whole bunch of crap.
Yeah.
So
Nice.
have I missed anything you guys want to cover? It's been a great conversation, I think.
Yeah,
amazing. Yeah,
I've had a great time.
man. Yeah, it's just as I mean, like we spoke about, obviously, like the single and stuff. And now we've got a video for that. That's we're doing a premiere. That's being premiered at a publication called Under the Radar.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to be on this Friday.
Okay.
And and then the singles out everywhere.
And if fans want to get a hold of you, can you drop your socials so they can grab them?
Yeah. The Instagram is the dead freights _band.
Okay.
Facebook is just the Dead Freights, I think, and so is the Twitter. You can email us at thedeadfreights@gmail.com.